Right. Welcome to the Virtual Education Week IGT webinar. I'm John Haviv, your MCVP IGT and IGE. And to get started, I just want to know from the three of you who aren't Christian, the two of you who aren't Christian, the three of you that aren't Christian. That was a roller coaster. We just went for a ride. What brought you to this call? What are you hoping to get out of it by being here? The four of you that aren't Christian.
Yeah. Hey, Sean.
So, Sean, since you're the last one to get here, what brought you to this call, and why are you here, and what are you hoping to get out of it?
For like the sales meeting thing. Wait, what's the topic for this one again?
It's basically going over what is global talent, how do we explain it to companies, and I'm here. I want to answer questions that you guys have.
Okay.
Product. Yeah,
so just what to say in the meetings, I guess, and how do you explain it better, and ways to I guess draw them in more.
Cool. Thank you. Tamid?
I guess I want to know my product better so I could know how to make it more attractive to a company. So when talking to them, I guess the more I know my product, the better I can communicate it to who I'm trying to sell it to, and the better I can try to attract them to buy.
All right, Haley, Nikos, whichever one of you wants to go next.
Okay. Wait, you go.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I can't stay that long because it's a meeting and it's really loud here, so I'm just gonna mute myself.
All right, Haley.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm always trying to learn more about, I guess, different ways to handle objections during meetings. Something kind of specific to Isaac is the term of the visa, how it's only 18 months. And I think how you phrase the duration of how long someone stays here is really important. Sometimes it's not very attractive to a company. They're really concerned on retention rate. So that's really specific, but I've been thinking a lot about that recently.
Yeah, no, totally. All right, so thank you guys. So the flow for this call is going to be, I'm just going to go through a refresher of the basics of GT and some of the overview of it, and then go into the subproducts that we have, and then give you guys a space to ask me questions, talk about things that you've run into in meetings, and we can figure out how to solve those things. Anything else that you guys think you want to add? All right, and I will share my screen. Get started. So, welcome to Education Week for IGT. For those of you guys who don't know, the IGT network is tidal wave. And rules that I have for calls, just have your cameras on, be engaged and contribute, and stay for the whole call. And so my check-in for you guys is, if you had to write a book, what genre would it be and why? And how would you rate March so far on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best? Whoever wants to go first.
I'd write about sci-fi. I don't know why, but I really like sci-fi movies. So I think that'd be a fun, I could write a weird book or something. And then rating March. I mean, other than Andrew breaking his freaking ribs today, March has been pretty cool. I'd say March has been a 9. I feel we're always learning, and there's been a lot of meetings. Shouts out to Sean. So March has been cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Haley.
I think I'd write a mystery book, just because I feel it'd be kind of interesting to have like a, I don't know, I just kind of like reading mystery books or like those kind of movies where like they have to like solve something like that and find something at the end. And I'd rate March like a 9, I think, because I think it's been a pretty fun month, and it's also my birthday month pretty soon, so that's why it's pretty fun and pretty good.
Happy birthday, or soon to be birthday.
Thank you.
Tomit or Christian?
If I had to write a book, I would also go for sci-fi because it's pretty cool. Like I also like watching sci-fi movies, and if I had to rate March, so far it'd be like a 5, but spring break's coming up, so hopefully that'll be higher soon.
All right. Christian, and then anybody else on the call who came since I started sharing my screen?
I'd probably write a fantasy novel just because I really enjoy like good fantasy novels, not like a throwaway fantasy novel, like probably something like Aragon or like a Song of Ice and Fire because I love Game of Thrones too. So like I just always enjoyed like fantasy and medieval things like that. So I'd probably write a fantasy novel, but it'd be a good one. Make no mistake. I would probably rate March probably like a 7 or an 8. It's also my birthday month, so that was fun. My birthday was earlier this month, but Isaac-wise, it's been pretty good too. So yeah, probably a 7 or an 8.
All right. Nikos? Take us home.
Mine would also be fantasy, kind of. Yeah, something like that. March is like a solid 6, I would say.
Thank you, Nikos. For me, if I had to write a book, it'd be a comic book. I think that's a genre. I like comic books. That's why they're a good thing for me to read. Words are hard sometimes. And I would rate March a 7, like getting through it. It's been definitely like a lot going on this month. I'm really happy to see like LC's getting opens this month. And also really excited for EBCO, which is going to be MC Apollo's last conference of our term. That will be kind of bittersweet. Now moving on. So what exactly is Global Talent? Just to make sure we're all on the same page on the product. Has somebody screaming in the background if they can mute themselves? Okay. And so what is Global Talent? Anybody know when Global Talent was started?
Wasn't it the first product for Isaac?
Yep. So it was started shortly after Isaac was started in the 50s when we started to have our first global internships realized. And then as we hit 1969, it reached over 4,700 exchanges, and that was on a one-to-one model. So you could only go on an internship if you like raised an internship. And it was only for ISAC members, so you had to be in ISAC to go on an exchange through ISAC. And we kept growing, and especially in the US, we were doing at one point almost 600 global talent exchanges. However, in the 90s, we went through a big drop, eventually hitting a low point globally of 1,000 realizations in 1998, especially as the tech bubble burst. In the 2000s, we developed 2 main subproducts, so technical and management. And then in 2010, it was renamed the Global Internship Program, or GIP. So when I joined ISAC, I did GIP. I didn't do Global Talent. And in 2015, we hit our peak globally for IGIP, or for GIP in general, with 5,800 realizations. And then in 2016, the product was officially renamed as Global Talent. And what is Global Talent a little bit further? It's an opportunity for a young person to develop their leadership qualities and live a professional experience. And in Global Talent, a young person works abroad to advance their goals. So they have a professional experience, they have a supervisor and are evaluated and get to learn. and we have a diverse group of partners to work with. And then for partners, it's to hire global talent, global interns, and add a competitive advantage to your business in today's global market. And what can GT do for our company partners? Just like four main points, just to hit real quick. One is the J1 visa, and for a lot of companies, especially, they don't have access to this, especially smaller companies. The next one is affordability. Global Talent provides the company with people who are young and enthusiastic for a really competitive price, as well as gives somebody the ability to recruit globally and access a large talent pool without having to have the infrastructure in place already to do it. Growth. ISA can provide interns that accelerate a company's growth and development while inspiring and developing young leaders. And for a lot of companies, the ability to bring somebody here, develop them, and then retain them in another country is really valuable. And then finally, diversity. ISA can expand a company's talent pool to add a competitive advantage. And then we have globally, there are these 5 subproducts, but we don't run one of them in the US for legal reasons. So ignore nurture because we don't run it. But we have advance, which is for business administration, develop, which is for IT, expand, which is for marketing, and gear, which is for engineering. We'll go through the subproduct booklets a little bit, but you can also find these on isacushub.org. And these are things that you can actually send to a company for sales. And then just a review. So for global talent, you can work with a multinational, a small, medium-sized company, or a startup. It can be anywhere from 6 weeks to 7 to 8 weeks. So you can have a 6-week global talent. It's rare. I think I've only seen one 6-week global talent in the US in my 3-4 years in ISEC. But I have seen people do 3-month global talent. So just because somebody's like, hey, I only need somebody here for 3 months, that doesn't necessarily mean that we should switch them to global entrepreneur. This is a paid opportunity, and it is the value proposition I said before. One other thing to note is also the difference in the type of talent is that a lot of times when we're doing global talent, it's people who have degrees and might even have work experience, whereas global entrepreneur is usually undergraduate students. That's a quick overview, and then to go through each of the subproducts real quick with you guys. So I will just scroll through. So marketing and expand. Basically, you can see here we have the benefits. People can retain their talent abroad, not in the US due to our visa restrictions. The backgrounds that we usually work with are these 4. And a lot of because we're the US, are able to recruit people who are usually graduated or master's students or people with master's degrees. So we do get a lot of people who apply to our opportunities if we can open them. Here's some sample job descriptions. So it can be market analysts, product developers, researchers, UX designers, digital production roles, content creators, media managers, digital developers, sales, PR, support, and country sales. So people who are looking to expand their market. And here's what a sample timeline can look like. So opening opportunities in January and February, attracting and approving in March, and then having the visa process and preparation for people to arrive in May. This is an overview of our talent pool. And then what we need from a company is the profile, the job description, and the selection process. And then we'll take care of the sourcing and the visa. And here's a little bit about our talent. The same thing here we have for IT. So it's a similar setup where you can see the types of languages that we have. So if you ever get a language that you're not sure about, always make sure to check it first. The types of job descriptions that we can usually have people do, really it's more, we don't usually have people with a lot of experience, but we do have people who have graduated and are really talented. And our top providers are usually places like Tunisia, Brazil, Mexico, for the US, and India. Engineering is the next subproduct. So once again, industrial, electrical, chemical, mechanical engineers. And then finally, business administration, sales, HR, finance, business development. And what I really want to talk to you guys about is really focus on finding companies that are looking to add these junior developer roles. One, because they can be very expensive for companies. There's a huge need. And if you look at other entities that are similar to ours, like ISEC in Canada, how are they growing? It's that they had a really big focus on IT, and they sold that a lot. And so especially if you can find people who have like projects that they know that we're looking for developers to work on something for a year. Then they can have them work on that and move forward. So that's a quick overview of the product and what we offer. What questions do you guys have or things you've run into that, hey, I'm still not sure how to talk about this with a company? How do I get a company to understand why they should take this intern? Or common objections you've gotten?
Yeah, back to the whole like retention rate thing. That seems to be a big issue when it comes to hiring talent for projects. Yeah. So yeah, how do you approach that, John?
Yeah. So for retention, I'll usually let people know like this is something that we can't help them with retaining people. They can't have somebody apply for their visa while they're here, and the person has to leave. After that, that's up to them. However, the other thing that I'll usually push is the idea of running programs where you have one intern, we bring in the next intern 3 to 4 months before that one of them is going to leave. So that you're always having people, they can train each other, they can transition things, and you're not losing anything there. And then if the company is big enough and you know that they have offices abroad or they're looking to expand and build new offices, then offering that intern as somebody that's retained in that other country. So it really depends on the need and understanding, okay, well, why does this person need retention? Maybe it's that we're not looking at the right solution. Like if they are that they need somebody to eventually become a manager in the company, ISIC is probably not the right product for them. But if they have IT challenges or a big project that they need to get done in the next 18 months and implement, then this would be a great solution for them to build things out. And that a lot of our interns are able to pick up and start working faster. So we don't have like a usually as long of an onboarding time. Yeah, but it starts with understanding first the company's need and why do they need this person before just saying, well, you can do this and do this, because then the person's going to feel like you're not actually hearing their response.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. When I had a call with Intuit, they were mentioning something about like working internationally and trying to expand that way. So I kind of threw out the idea of having like they would have those contacts in different countries, which could be beneficial for some people, or they can hire them on different offices. And that seems to peak out to a lot of people. That seems to be like a good solution. I think it's just a lot of it is trying to explain that they can't be like we can't be involved in the hiring on process for afterwards in any way. Yeah.
Cool.
Just kind of a general question. During meetings and stuff, when you're talking to a company, how hard do you kind of sell the price point of it? How our prices are lower without kind of sounding like
We're cheap.
yeah.
So I usually won't talk about price as like the, hey, we're affordable, we're cheap. Like it's in the pitch deck as like this is like a high return on investment.
Mhm.
But at first, what I try to avoid is always before I even talk about price or our product is start with the company first, because if they then see the value, then
Yeah.
when you get to the price, they're going to be like, yeah, that's not much.
Right.
So I wouldn't necessarily say it's cheap. If people are concerned about price, then I would show the value of it.
Okay.
Okay, we're helping you with sourcing, visa sponsorship, insurance, support for the intern, and
Mhm.
these are all the things that you get for that price.
So like the price shouldn't be the initial selling point.
No, it should be more of here's the I've worked with you first to understand your need, and
Yeah.
I've shown you why bringing somebody in that's really talented through ISIC would be helpful, and then here's the value of it.
Right.
When it all comes together, it's like, oh yeah, let me buy it.
Okay. Thank you.
But that's a great question. What are other common things or things that you have been not sure about how to approach companies about? It looks like you're saying something, Sean, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I was talking to a company, Jukin Media, and they're saying that, like, I asked them what their future plans are for their projects, and he said he wouldn't want to tell me until like he had someone hired for that, and then he'll just let the intern know what he has to do.
Okay. So yeah, that's interesting, because it's sort of like, how do I build what the need is?
Mhm.
Did you get to the point where I would say then it's understanding, well, why did he take the meeting with you? What are they looking to hire for, and what areas?
Mhm.
Where are you looking for help? Because sometimes it might be that he just doesn't want to share his projects with you because he doesn't know you, he doesn't trust you, he doesn't
Yeah.
know them. But if it's more of, okay, we're going to talk about the talent, and especially once you understand, okay, and this guy, I might still not fully understand him, but hey, we've gotten to the point that I understand you're looking for this kind of talent. Well, what would it mean for your company to be able to bring on 3 more salespeople or 4 more IT people or whatever?
Mhm.
And that way, without him having to share that with you, you can still help build that need, and have that conversation.
Okay. Because he said he wouldn't, like, I asked him what his current hiring needs too, like, because I looked on the website, he said he need like sales or marketing or something like that, but he said that he wouldn't want to share that. He doesn't know off the top of his head or something.
Interesting guy. Do you have a follow up meeting with him, or what?
I don't know, because like I emailed him back, but I don't think he was that interested. It was a thing, like,
Yeah, then it might just be a no. And
yeah,
sometimes we get no's, and we roll with it. What an interesting dude.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that might be a guy where it's like, why did you end up taking the meeting? Like, what do
yeah,
you?
exactly.
Yeah.
John, like now that I'm actually getting to talk to you, just do you have any advice on like actually getting responses from companies after the initial contact, like cold emails, after actually getting responses from them from cold emails, cold calls, cold messages?
Yeah. I would say, one, always be playing with your templates. Like, both Ian and I, we like talk about this a lot. And we just switched our email templates, and like my new one is really simple, and I'm still getting no's, but it's fine. At least I'm getting responses to it.
Yeah.
I think we got like I can tell you guys right now. I just need to pull it up. I believe I got like a 10% response rate the last time I checked.
Mhm.
And so always be doing that, and then making sure you follow up.
Yeah.
Like, I literally will send my first email and then a second email the next day. Let me just tell you guys right now. I can tell you what the response rate on my emails are. 1 second. And not trying to sell like everything that we do in ISIC like in an email. Like, you're not trying to get the contract. You're just trying to get somebody to talk to.
Right. Right.
So I had. So right now I've gotten about 28 responses to the emails I sent out on Monday and Tuesday. And 97 of them have opened. And about, yeah. So like, a lot of them were no's, some of them were talk to this person, but the email that I sent out was literally, hey, can you let me know who's in charge of, I can put the template, the output, as well, but can you let me know or refer me to the person in charge of recruiting and hiring?
Okay.
So I literally didn't even mention ISIC in my initial email, the last one that I sent.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
I stole that from a book. The guy who built Salesforce's. Yeah, so that email, so I sent 3 different types of emails. The emails where like I talked a lot about ISIC, I got like 6 responses to. The emails where all I asked for a referral, I got 15. And then my follow-ups each got like a few more.
And here's kind of a specific scenario. I booked a company said they wanted to meet with me. They said, yeah, let's meet next Thursday. But then when I followed up, I was like, okay, next Thursday, what time? Or like, would you like to meet this Thursday instead in person? They're just not replying. Should I what should I do in that case?
Just keep following up. People get busy. People I've had emails that they hit my inbox and I want to respond, and then 5 other things happen.
Right.
Somebody said they were interested. I would never stop following up with them until they tell you to.
Okay. And if they in their closer they had a phone number, would you recommend calling it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else around things like about our visa, about our product, anything in the specifics that you guys feel like, hey, I wouldn't be comfortable answering about this or talking about this in a meeting? Christian, if there's anything you want to in your MVP.
Do you know that in relation to other visa sponsorship programs, how much ours is ours more cost effective in a sense, or what's like the benefit of using our visa?
If you look at us visa to visa, we're usually around the same price. Like a lot of them are a little bit cheaper than us. The advantages to us are we do sourcing, we do all the other stuff. Our premium pricing is competitive with other visa sponsors, and like we also don't charge like, this is a small one. We don't charge like extra fees for like some things that others do. So like Cultural Vistas is a company that does something similar to us. Well, they're a visa sponsor as well, and they do like, they're a little bit cheaper just for the sponsorship. But then when you add up like their insurance and they're like a little bit cheaper without the sourcing part. So when you combine us sourcing and visa, then we're like really pretty affordable.
Okay, so if someone has a pre-match and they're trying to like find the best like visa sponsorship program to go through, is there a way that you can kind of like, how does like with the global current, and I heard that we have like visas allotted to us, like would that be a benefit in that sense? Or I don't know, I'm just trying to think of like different benefits.
A company that to work with us because one, we're more mission aligned, we provided more support to interns, and also we do work relatively quickly. Like on the national level, once we get a that, we work really fast. It's really usually that we don't get clean visa apps, but once like the application is like good and ready to go, we're an expedited sponsor.
Okay, that makes sense.
And we don't charge companies like an extra fee for expedited.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Then I will now be stopping the broadcast.